Alright, YouTube. What up? Digital. The whole purpose of the last video is I don't know. Now, the whole purpose is I hear a lot of people complain about welfare and shit like that, which, I'm not a big fan of. I know it's needed for some individuals, and I'm okay with that. I don't mind paying that. Alright. There are a lot of individuals I shouldn't be paying for. But I think what's even worse is people on here giving excuses to people so they can work these barely a job jobs. These jobs that they should be for 15-year-olds. Low skill, no skill type jobs. They're not for an adult. An adult should have already gone there. Somebody was, people complain about Walmart's pay. Well, out of retail, Walmart actually pays probably the most. But you shouldn't have a family while working at Walmart. And the people that get stuck there are the people that, well, just like my mom who got stuck in GE. She was smart enough to get out. But she had people, that helped her thinking that was an okay decision to work nights, which actually later on in life I realized that was a good decision for me, because me and my mother do not get along. Matter of fact, right now we're not talking, and God, life is good. I didn't have too great of a childhood. That's why I make it up with Isabella. But anyway, I'm just tired of this population going, well, if manufacturing was here, we'd do that. But you know what? Picking strawberries is still here, but you don't see people fucking doing that. These people didn't want to work manufacturing. There's plenty of proof on this thing called the internet that shows that when manufacturing was dying out in America, the death stroke of it was the immigration system breaking, and that means that there was Mexicans the ones doing it. They were doing it because, us Americans were too lazy to fucking do it. And these people who are too lazy are the ones that keep ending up on welfare, they keep ending up doing this, and they keep ending up doing that, and they complain the whole bit. And we need to stop fucking giving them a reason to complain. We need to tell them to shut the fuck up. You're an adult. Wake up. Become like everyone else, and put yourself back in line. Sure, they're not gonna all get jobs like I have and other people have and everything else, but they can have something. I'm sure they can do something, other than make $10 an hour complaining about bullshit. Walmart doesn't care if you're 30 or fucking 20. They're gonna hire you, so they don't give a shit. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just tired. Oh, well, manufacturing was here, we'd have people less than... No, these people didn't work there. So, anyway. The other thing I just kind of over, and I just hit a lamb dog. All my YouTube shit is going through here, so it's just fuck you back thing. I don't even remember saying it. I know I thought it. But anyway, another thing is Lambdog actually, and this is what this video is going to be about, did a video about economics, and people should learn economics. People should go watch that video and pull their head out of their butts and learn it. I'm not an expert in it at all, and Lambdog knows probably a hell of a lot more than I do. I invest my money short term in things that I can turn around. The street part of me is still in me, and hustling, that type of shit, I still do. I still hustle college stereo shit. I still do this. I still do that. Do all types of shit. Other people invest in stocks and whatever. Whatever. But you should know what the fuck's going on, especially if you have a 401k or something like that. He is totally fucking correct on that one. But anyhow, my brother-in-law lost over 150 G in his California Ran 401. But anywho, one of the other pet peeves is people, looking back in time like it was better, and thinking like, oh well, if we had a different government, things would be better. And that's not even true at all. Now, there's this guy called Dr. Quintard Taylor Jr., and he's a professor of American history, and he has this really cool timeline that I found. It's on Washington EDU, and I took some excerpts from it. So, anyone who's seen his website or whatever else, and I want to give him credit because this guy's fucking awesome for this little timeline thing he did. And he's got it from like before 1600, then 1600 to 1700, 1700, 1800, 1800, 1900, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty good, but I just took some things out of this timeline that I want to read to people. The other day I did the quote from Benjamin Franklin, my homeboy. And to get people thinking, hey, you know what, this shit was happening then, okay? And this shit has happened in our history more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times, and probably about 10th time now. But okay, May 1785, Congress passes Land Ordinance of 1785, which divides the Northeast Territories into townships, each set for 6 square miles, subdivided into 36 lots of 640 acres each, and each lot selling for no less than $640. So basically, right out of the gate, matter of fact, you know what? Is this? Yeah, right out of the gate, we're selling up land. All the state lines haven't been drawn up yet and everything else. We're selling up land to generate revenue. Summer of 1786. Americans suffer from post-war economic depression, including shortage of currency, ding 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 ding, high taxes, ding 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 ding, nagging creditors, ding 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 ding, farm foreclosures, ding ding. Oh shit, we got a fucking jackpot here, and bankruptcies. Holy sheep shit. You hear that shit? Foreclosures and bankruptcies. 1780 motherfucking 6. God damn it. See, this is why digital doesn't read. Because digital finds shit to fuck with people. See, I'm just like a nipple twister. That's all I am. Okay. Oh, this is a good one here. August 22, 25th. Angry representatives from 50 towns in Massachusetts meet to discuss money problems, including the rising number of foreclosures, the high cost of lawsuits, the heavy land and poll taxes. Heavy land and poll tax. Okay. Just make sure I get that right. High salaries for state officials. Huh. Does this ring a bell to anyone? I mean, is this 1786 or 2012? Demands for new paper money as a means of credit. Those motherfuckers. They demanded a new paper money as means of credit. How dare thee? Those assholes. August 31st, 1786, Massachusetts. To prevent debtors from being tried and put in prison, ex-Revolutionary War Captain Daniel Shays, who is now a bankrupt farmer, leads an armed mob and prevents the Northampton courts from holding a session. Now, this is later known as Shays' Rebellion. And Shays' Rebellion is funny because when I was in economics and American history, Mr. Steinzig, God, Mr. Steinzig's a fucking smart motherfucker. He was a boxer and got in real estate. Oh, God, the guy's a genius. But he told me, matter of fact, he was the one that got me into these credit card scams. He didn't get me. He laid the groundwork for me to figure out all this bullshit. And it was part of the school report, too, of all fucking funny things. So it's the type of shit you get to do when you go to fucking gang high. But anywho, Mr. Steinzig was laying down the ground rules of what the next Revolutionary War would look like. And this is part of it. But, and most people would agree that this was it. The problem is not that what the groundwork would be, but where we're at in it and how many people are actually there. That's the big problem area. But anywho, okay, so back then, debtors or people declaring bankruptcy can actually be criminally charged. And bankruptcy's been around forever. So it's one of those other things, derivatives, police, all this other bullshit that's been around for, a long time. And Shays' Rebellion goes into, this whole bullshit of people they were doing the right thing. And they got fucked over. And now they're being held out, and some good shit. I'm sure someone like Lambdog may want to read on that. I just remembering that the Cliff Notes version from when I was in high school. We didn't read books. We stabbed people. But anywho, we didn't even have books. Did we have books there? Not really, but anywho. People give me shit about my spelling and stuff like that. In English class, I shit you not, we had these packets. They were short stories. They were like 3 pages in a packet. You read the story, you filled out the bullshit at the end, you turn them in. Every 15 of them was a credit or something like that. So you just sit there and you become a packet mill. Communications term. Okay, anywho. Where was I? Shays' Rebellion. Okay, so Shay led a mob that got pretty fucking big in those days. That we'll call Shay. Shay is shall not be infringed. Okay, so he led this mob that was pretty fucking big. They ended up later on getting their ass handed to them, but they put a big dent in shit that ended up changing laws of bankruptcy and everything else. So yeah, anywho, Shays' Rebellion. Okay, in New Hampshire mob. Okay. Let's go. September 20th, 1786, in New Hampshire, an armed mob marches to the state assembly and demands an enactment of an issue of paper money. There we go again with these people wanting this fucking paper money credit bullshit. 1786. Write that down. Shea rebels. This is September 26, 1786. Shea's rebels, fearing that they might be charged with treason, confront 600 militiamen protecting the state of Massachusetts, Supreme Court in session in Springfield, and force the court to adjourn. And his rebellion got pretty decent. October 20th, 1786, Congress authorizes Secretary of War Henry Knox to raise an army of 1,340 men over concerns of safety of the federal arsenal at Springfield, Massachusetts. December 26, 1786, Shea assembles 1,200 men near Worcester, Mass. And Shea, Massachusetts, shall not be a friend. Okay. Heads towards Springfield, Massachusetts governor, then orders mobilization of a 4,400 man force. January 26, 1787. So this about a month later, Shea's rebels attacked the federal arsenal at Springfield, but were unsuccessful. Revolutionary War hero Benjamin Lincoln then arrives with reinforcements from Boston to pursue the rebels. So basically, this is kind of the thing, and I'm not talking, I kind of put this guy, like shall not be in French, because literally, this would be the 1786 version. But this aside, this is what would happen to people marching to the government and trying to take over or pursuing a takeover when you do not have the majority of the citizens backing. And it doesn't matter if it's a forcible one or a peaceful one, like what's going on in China. But anywho, February 21st, 1787, amid calls for a stronger central government due to in part to Shea's rebellion, Congress endorses a resolution calling for a constitutional convention to be held in Philadelphia at the beginning of May, which is basically the start of the Congress. Rather than, June 19, 1787, rather than revise the Article of Confederation, delegates at the Constitutional Convention vote to create entirely a new form of national government separated into three branches, thus dispersing power with checks and balances and competing factions, and a measure of protection against tyranny by controlling the majority. Now, see, here we go back again. A measure of protection against tyranny by a controlling majority, aka majority rules. Okay, go back here. I'm not saying it's right, because there's too many dead people in our society walking around every day. Okay. I'm totally for majority rules. I am totally for it, even though it kicks me in the nuts sometimes. But it's not the majority rules that's the problem. It's the people that are just fucking idiots that's the problem. But anyway, August 6 through 10, 1787, items in a draft of the Constitution debating, including length of terms, the power of Congress to regulate commerce. See, this was already an issue back then. The power of Congress to regulate commerce. Already an issue. Already a fucking issue. And a proposed 20-year ban on congressional action concerning slavery. So right out the door, because all the states were completely at odds on slavery, they already wanted the federal government to stay the fuck out for 20 years. Okay, February 6, 1788, Anti-Federalists in Massachusetts, led by Sam Adams and John Hancock. heard of these motherfuckers before. They were like, figures in our like history or something. Yeah. Favor a more decentralized system of government, gave their support to ratification of the Constitution only after a compromise is reached that amendments will be included which guaranteed civil liberties. Oh. So, they would only sign if the Bill of Rights came into play. Because they were already concerned that the Constitution was not all that. Alright, sorry. July 4, 1789, Congress passes its first tax. Those motherfuckers. An 8.5% protective tax on 30 different items, with items arriving on American ships charged at a lower rate than foreign ships. So a protection tariff. Ah, gee. We were already fucking it up back then. February 15th, Jefferson sends President George Washington his opinion on the constitutionality of the bill for establishing a national bank. Secretary of Treasury Hamilton argues that the Constitution provides an implied powers to establish a bank. Jefferson disagrees, and he sees Hamilton's plans for a national bank, the development of manufacturers and other related financial policies, as creating conditions for the accumulation of the kind of power and corruption identified in the courts in the monarchies of Europe. Son of a bitch. This whole national bank problem started back in 1791. Okay, 1803, Louisiana Purchase. January 18th, Jefferson asked Congress for funds for an expedition to explore the Mississippi River and beyond, search for a route to the Pacific. Lewis, Jefferson's private secretary, begins planning the expedition, which forms in late 1803. April 30th, Robert Livingston, ambassador to France, and James Monroe, special envoy, conclude a treaty of cession in Paris, in which the United States purchases from France the whole of the Louisiana Territory for $15 million. Now, let's be real back then, even though I thank them for the purchase. I thank them for the way it went down. Okay. Because I'm not, I was going to say I'm not Mexican, but never mind. $15 million when we're coming out of an economic depression that is not coming out of its own. Where does $15 million come from? If I remember right, back then we only had like 5 million people. Some bullshit like that. So, where did this money come from, Let me go to the census here. Okay, 1800 United States Census showed that there was 5.3 million people living in the United States, which almost 1 million of them were slaves. Okay. Now again, I'm okay with the Louisiana Purchase. I'm happy they did it. But how the fuck Did they get $15 million fucking dollars in the middle of a fucking recession or depression, actually, because there was no, a depression. $15 million bucks. There's only 5 million people. So let's talk about taxes. Let's talk about fucking the value of this bullshit money back in 1803. Okay, let's go. The territory approximately 800,000 square miles, comprising Mississippi part way west, almost double the size of the United States. Jefferson's original expectation was that Livingston and Monroe might persuade the French to yield a portion of the Mississippi River Valley for $10 million. However, Emperor Napoleon of Jackassville has just lost an army in the island of Santo Domingo in the Caribbean, and is no longer interested in maintaining a French foothold in North America and offers the United States the whole of the territory. Well, thank you, Napoleon, you pussy motherfucker. But, okay, so, God, look at all these fucking major concerns all the way back here. And it's funny how these major concerns are a direct reflection of what's kind of going on right now. You know, what is going on with our government today? You know, so, this comes into play where I think the biggest thing is at this point, America's doing better, whether people want to believe it or not. The automakers, including Chevy, and Dodge, who got loans and paid them all back and everything else, they're on the verge of selling. This year they will be doing the same amount of car sales than they did in 2007 before the flop. Overall, there will be over 16 million new cars sold in America this year, which is 2007 numbers. So again, before the flop. Unemployment's down, productivity's up, there's a lot of shit going on. Most of America is not even talking about this shit anymore. So, how long are we going to sit here and string this out to being we're still going to crash and die? Now, not saying that there's nothing else that could happen. And Lambdog brought up a good point, which, talking about bank lending and stuff like that. But there is no perfect system. Even how the system was back then, it wasn't perfect. There was huge problems. There isn't a 50-year time period in our history that we can look back and say, oh yeah, it's perfect. No. So, I mean, what is it going to take for people to stop following Alex Jones and realize that there's light at the end of the tunnel? That's what I want to know. Because the majority of the people clearly have moved on. Now, I believe that they moved on too far. And I wait a minute. Let me rephrase this, because I'm not talking about laws. The whole aspect of tyranny, as far as the gun legislation and shit going in play. But I'm talking about the fear of the economic complete disaster that people are going. What is it going to take? Because our banks don't have to do anything special for loans. We already established how to loan right. That's a different video, but anywho, what is it going to take for the rest of the people? What is it going to take for Alex Jones to not have a job anymore? I don't know. For me, for the most part, I've moved on. Doesn't mean I'm not cautious, but sitting and dwelling doesn't make me any money, doesn't make me any healthier, doesn't make me any happier, doesn't make me any more prepared, doesn't anything. It just wastes time. I think that's the point of this video. Just waste time. I'll put a link to the website so you guys can check it out. There's more. This guy's pretty cool. And this is why I don't like reading this. You know, I have when I was younger and shit. I mean, U.S. history I fucking love. The problem is I've already seen this. You know, I mean, this is history repeats itself because we make the same stupid mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes that our governments and monarchies and everything have made is over taxation. And the only reason our government has survived as long as it has, and some of the other modern governments, because they finally figured out how much they can tax somebody. If people are worried about social this and all this other bullshit, none of it's going to change. And we could sit there and bitch to Congress to the point that we might get one thing out, but guess what? They'll just put something else back in because it's not even really the item. They just know how much they can tax people. And most of the people in America, they'll bitch about taxes during tax season, and then they go on their merry way the rest of the year and they don't say shit. So 1 week out of the whole year they talk shit and they go on. So why the fuck will the government stop spending money? Because they don't need to. They figured out that magic number. It's pretty clear. So we can debate about what's in it or not in it, or how they spend it, which we don't have no say in it. So we could debate all that all day long, but it doesn't matter. They know that number. And you can put dog shit in there. Doesn't matter. They're still gonna. You could take out welfare and replace it with the government purchasing dog shit to fly over Iraq and dump it on them. It doesn't matter. They found the number. They found the algorithm. And that's what they're going to stick with. So, I don't know.